he loved to give it back to everyone instead of just holding on to that love just for a little bit longer for yourself. Because you deserve that love. You deserve that kindness just as much as you're putting it out to people. But I feel like he'd receive it and then give it back. I just wish he could have just let himself feel full. Accept it. You don't always have to pass it on to everyone else. You can hold on to it.
What do you think are the three biggest lessons you've learned through this process then? About yourself, about life, about, again, we've talked a little bit about your purpose moving, by what you want to create through dance moving forward, but what are those three big lessons, would you say?
My biggest lesson I think I've learned is that every season has an expiration date on both sides. With grief, that will come to a close and you'll be okay on the other side. But then also your good times will also have an expiration date. So learn to be really grateful for those good times. That's been the biggest lesson for me. Let go of control. Let God and universe do its job. And the last thing I would say I learned was to accept the things that happen to you and then learn to love them. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Really?
You have to learn to love it. And that's where I've been the last couple of months is I don't have to understand what happened, but I have to learn to love that this is my experience and it's a part of it. And all I can do is move through it to the other side.
Because you can't change what happened.
I cannot.
But how does someone learn to love something as tragic as what you experienced?
Because I still get to have life. And it's how you choose to look at things. Because with every awful thing, there's also something beautiful with it. And I have a lot of beautiful times with Steven. And I have so many beautiful memories with him. And I've learned so much from him. There was so much love and joy that my family has learned and experienced. And that is the only reason I know this pain. But that is something beautiful. I had 13 magical years that a lot of people don't get to have. I got to have that. I got to have that grand love. Got to have that experience. I got to have a life partner that I just still am so in awe of.
Wow.
And he deserves that respect and love. And so for me, that is beautiful. And I got to have that and experience it. And I get to look back on that. And I get to still lead in from that place.
What you're sharing is something that come up for me because my dad got into his accident when I was about 22. And I remember thinking he was never really the same person again. So I never really had a relationship with my father like most people would have. He just wasn't able to consciously remember things. He would, every time I'd see him, he would kind of have to ask who I was again. He had a different personality. It's just a different relationship than when I was before his accident. And I remember saying, well, at least I had those, 20 years with him.
Yeah.
And when most people don't have fathers, or they don't have a good experience, or whatever it might be. So I really, even though it was sad to have 17 years with him alive, where it was like we were disconnected, I just kept thinking about all the good that I learned from him and the lessons I got and the moments and the memories. So you had 13 years together, right? Yeah. What would you say are the three biggest things that Twitch taught you during that time and maybe after that time?
Kindness. He's one of the kindest humans I've ever met in my entire life. The other thing I learned from him is he always wanted everyone to feel seen. If you were with him, you felt seen. It was magical. And then I'll say, man, he was a beast of a dancer.
That's great.
I mean, just like, man, the best dancer. I learned so much about dance with
Really?
him. And just that it's fun and you can just do whatever you want with it and express yourself. And we just had such a good time on the dance floor. And he just showed me that I can just have fun. Yeah.
I'm curious, what do you think is a thing you wish he would have known, felt, or seen within himself differently?
For me, looking back on Steven, I feel his best qualities and why they were his best qualities is because he was trying to find that for himself.
Really?
I feel like he had a hard time with accepting the love that was coming into him from all sorts of people, such wonderful, lovely people. I think the reason he outpoured so much is because he felt like he couldn't hold on to it.
Really?
That's what made him the kindest human. So what made him such a lovely human is that he loved to give it back to everyone instead of just holding on to that love just for a little bit longer for yourself, because you deserve that love. You deserve that kindness just as much as you're putting it out to people. But I feel like he'd receive it and then give it back. And I just wish he could have just let himself feel full. Accept it. You don't always have to pass it on to everyone else. You can hold on to it.
You can receive it.
You can receive it.
You can feel it.
You can
and
feel it and
acknowledge
sit with it.
It's interesting. I was watching an interview with another big celebrity recently where they were talking about, they're very famous, and they were talking about how they never really feel loved. Like, and the praises that come to them, it's hard for them to receive those praises. It's part of the thing that drove this person to be, at the top of their game. It's like constantly searching for it, but never being able to receive it. I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling of never being able to receive love fully and believe that they're deserving and worthy of love.
Yeah.
How have you been able to know that you're deserving and worthy of love throughout your whole life?
It's complicated because that was something that I feel like I've never looked at myself and said, I love you, like to myself. And I had a friend recently say, you do all these affirmations, you do all this manifesting, but have you ever just looked at yourself and said, I love you? You're like, I love you. And I was like, wow, I don't think I've ever just said that. Like I said, I do all the affirmations, but have I ever just looked in the mirror and said, I love you? I was like, I don't think I've ever done that. So I'm just trying to do that now.
Wow.
I know. And it seems like such an easy concept, but like, have I ever looked in the mirror and at myself and been like, I love you? I was like, I don't know. What a good question. I'm gonna certainly work on that now.
Sure.
So that's something I'm trying to introduce to myself now. But I find that the affirmations, again, of course, like I know we keep bringing that up and talking about, but that's definitely been a backbone in my life. But the word love, that's interesting to say love to yourself.
Did you love yourself growing up? Or is this a new concept for you?
It's a new concept to think about, because I don't think I'd ever thought about, do I love myself? Like, oh, I love my kids. I love my late husband. I love my friend. I talk so much about that with other people, but have I ever been like, I love myself? I don't know if I'd ever said that or even really thought about it.
I mean, there's a narcissistic approach to that, and then there's an integrated, healthy approach to that, I think, where it's like, I love and accept and appreciate myself for everything I've been through and for who I'm becoming. And then there's everyone look at me, look how great I am, kind of a narcissistic approach, which I don't think is healthy. I think there's a healthy, healed version of love and acceptance and appreciation, and a narcissistic view of like, I need more attention.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.